In today's video, we're going to be doing a mid blowout taper. Just like how I start every haircut, I'm going to saturate the hair until it is fully wet. Starting with the sectioning, I'm going to part the hair from his cowlick all the way until his recession. Sectioning it like this is going to help us create our foundation on the sides, which we will eventually blend the top into. Once you have that sectioned, it should look like a horseshoe or kind of like a V shape. After we pin the top up, I'm going to take a diagonal forward section from his apex all the way to his ear. This is going to help me separate the back from the sides and give us a seamless transition between the two. Just like with most of my haircuts, I start by taking a section above the parietal, pulling out to my chest, and setting my guide length. My client told me that he wanted 1.5 inches off of the back, so I'm going to just pull that out, take 1.5 inches off all the way around the horseshoe. Once we have that guide length set, I'm going to take vertical sections all the way through the back at a 45-degree angle, just like this. And in every section, I'm resting my knuckles below his occipital bone, cutting to that and trying to get right below the occipital to finger length. The reason I want the occipital area to be finger length is because that's going to be our transition from shears to clippers. And like I said, we're cutting the whole back at a 45-degree angle, just like this. Most people start by setting a profile section in the back and then just traveling that guide throughout the back. But since we set our foundational length at the top, we can start wherever we want in the back of the head, ensuring that we'll never lose our guide. Whenever I'm creating a new section, I like to set it in about the width of a comb so it's not too big and it's not too small. After we finish the back, we're going to move on to the sides. Throughout the sides, I'm going to take diagonal forward sections. When I'm cutting this section, I'm going to start in the temple area and I'm going to be finger length, so flush against the head. But as I work my way back, I'm going to start angling my fingers out so I can connect into that back section, creating a triangular shape. I'm wanting to preserve bulk behind the ears and on the top of the taper, so as I'm moving up into these sections, I'm actually over directing all these sections back down to the previous. I cut it like this because whenever we're ready to use our clippers, it will transition into the shear work pretty seamlessly. And whatever you do to one side, do the same exact thing to the other, so I'm just going to repeat this process on the other side of his head. Now that I'm done with the sides, let's move to the top. For cutting the top, I'm going to split his cowlick all the way down the middle to the bridge of his nose. So if you remember in the beginning, we set that foundational length, so I'm actually just going to over direct both of these sections into that foundational length. And my client said he only wanted 1/2 inch off the front, so I'm just pulling the fringe section down and cutting 1/2 inch off. Now I'm going to connect the top into the foundation we set earlier. As we move towards the fringe, I'm actually going to start angling my fingers down so we can keep the fringe pretty full. And like I said earlier, what you do to one side, you must do to the other. Once we're done connecting the sides and the top, we should be left with this U shape in the fringe. Now we're pulling horizontal sections in the top and just cutting the peak that should be left after connecting the top into that foundational length. And I'm working these sections from the front all the way to the back of the crown. And to style, currently I'm using Statement Matte Paste, but Nate and I are currently working on a brand called Primal, and we're about to release a texture clay, so be on the lookout for a pre-order for that. So with the matte paste, I'm just going to scrunch it evenly throughout the top of his head while it's still damp. I put the product in while it's damp because I can scrunch it into place way better like this than when it's dry. And I'm just going to take the diffuser and scrunch the back and top until it's completely dry. Once it's dry, you should be left with something similar to this. Now to start with our clipper work. I'm going to start with debulking with a 3 closed just in the temple areas. And as you can see, it's flicking into the shear work pretty seamlessly. After I debulk, I like to shape up around the ears and the C-cup area so I can see exactly what I'll be fading into. I always start my fades by setting in my bald line with the trimmer and then following it up with the shaver. Now to start with the fade, I'm going to take my half guard closed and create about a finger length section, setting our first guideline in. The reason I set it in with a half closed is because our next guideline is going to be a 1.5 closed, and I feel like I can flick that line out between the 1.5 and the half with the half open, and it creates a pretty seamless transition. After I finish up with my clipper work, I'm just going to take my thinning shears and hit the top of this fade, removing all the bulk that isn't necessary. And I'm just going to repeat the same exact steps on the other side. And since this is my first YouTube video, I would love for you guys to drop in the comments something that I could have improved on in this video, or just a haircut you guys would like to see me do next. I'm not gonna lie, I was a little nervous to start a YouTube channel, just because I've never done really anything educational before on any platform, but as long as one person gains value from this, that's all that matters. And I'm just doing the same exact process on the back, so I'm going to start debulking with my 3 closed. And if you don't do this on the neck lineup, you should definitely start doing it. I'm just taking my taper comb and clearing out all the bulk that's laying over the lineup. And when I'm lining up the neck, I'm not trying to push him back, I'm just trying to create a line that's sharp. And as I said earlier, I'm just doing the same exact steps on the back that I did on the sides. And I am setting this back bald line in kind of like a rainbow rounded shape, just like I do in the temple taper areas. The only thing that's different in the back taper and the temple tapers is the back taper, I'm going to set my guidelines a little thicker just because we have more surface area to work with. I need one of y'all to tell me why this haircut is so popular. I feel like anyone that I cut from the age of 13 to probably like 17 or 18, this is the only haircut they ask for. I do this haircut all day, every day, 24/7, probably 10 cuts a day, just doing blowouts. And just for the record, that is not me complaining. I have kind of turned this into my staple piece, and most of the people in the area come to me just for my blowouts. And in my opinion, this is the most important part of the back taper, hitting it with the thinning shears, blending that shear work into that clipper work. And after every cut, please make sure and get all the little tiny hairs off of your client. And this is the finished cut. Please let me know what you guys think about it in the comments. And if you took anything away from this video, hit the subscribe button, turn the noties on, and follow along for more. Peace.